Untainted by Filth is the 7th episode of the 7th season of 2.5 Men. This is directed by James Widdoes, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. It's an okay episode, it's quite creative, but I feel like it felt unfinished. It felt incomplete, and I will, of course, explain what I mean by this. So I will go through things chronologically, and it starts off with Evelyn gifting Charlie and Chelsea a June wedding at the Bel Air Hotel. Chelsea is very excited. Alan's excited. Charlie not so much. We have a nice moment with Chelsea and Jake, and meanwhile, Charlie and Alan are out at a bar, and basically Charlie just needs to get away from the whole wedding conversation thing, and Alan's talking to this woman. She's called Betsy. She's played by Katy, Mixon, Greer, and he's talking about carbuncles, and Charlie does a nice thing. Charlie really hypes Alan up and makes him seem like this big shot doctor, and the next thing we know, Alan wakes up in bed next to the woman, which is fair enough. And then the camera allows us to see that on the other side of her is Charlie. Charlie, who's getting married to Chelsea at the Bel Air Hotel on June 26th. And needless to say, he panics, and they don't remember what happened. We get some flashbacks in the cab ride, and those are the bits that I thought were well done. They're quite creative. I thought they were really entertaining. Charlie comes home and remembers Alan as Marilyn Monroe. It was entertaining. I liked it. He manages to tell Chelsea that he'd been sleeping downstairs to not wake her, and that he wasn't just getting home from, having spent the night in another woman's bed. And he then talks with Evelyn. Evelyn was great in this episode, and we're near the end of the episode. Not much has happened. Nothing funny has happened. Alan's performances, when we have the flashbacks, I guess, were quite entertaining. But in general, it's not the most entertaining episode. Evelyn tells Charlie a story about something she did when she was with his second stepfather, something involving the circus. We have some pretty fun circus music, quite like that. And it did seem like, very briefly, Charlie was going to confess what may or may not have happened to Chelsea. But instead, he confesses the circus story because he can't get the images out of his head, and then Chelsea lies in bed and pictures them as well, and we hear the circus music, and that's how we end things, and it feels really unfinished and unresolved, and I just don't feel like it's a very well-written story. I can't remember if they continue it or not. I have seen the show many times, but I can't remember exactly what happens in the next episode. So on the one hand, I feel like they need to do something with it. It feels unfinished, but on the other hand, it's not that interesting. And I really don't want them to continue with it because I didn't find it to be that fun. So either way, I'm not going to be happy. So I didn't really care for it, but it was definitely a creative episode. Not the funniest episode either, but we did have some good Alan moments, some good Evelyn moments, and the circus music is going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. So not a bad episode, but it felt unfinished. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. And I hope they don't continue it because it's not that interesting. So, all things considered, there's absolutely nothing wrong with Untainted by Filth, aside from the fact that I don't think it's a well-written story, which I guess is a bit of a problem. But the flashbacks were creative, and we had some nice moments with Alan and Evelyn, and also a nice moment with Chelsea and Jake. So, not terrible, could be funnier, could be better written. I guess Untainted by Filth is definitely not a favourite, and I'd actually skip it. I think if I'm binge-watching this series again, I might give it another go, but I'm probably going to skip it. Definitely has room for improvement.